Yeah, sort of.
All
I ate
right, we
papaya.
are live. Let me see. Just gotta check. Do one thing on my phone. Welcome to Hard Truths, everyone. Welcome in. We're just gonna give a few minutes, and I just gotta check a few things and make sure we're live on YouTube and Facebook. Okay, we are. Okay, very good.
Happy full moon.
Is it a full moon tonight?
Full moon tomorrow night.
Jeez, man, I've been so out of it. I'm forgetting all about these.
Same. But I just always find that even if I don't want to think about it, it's like I can feel it. And then I have all these strange experiences when I sleep during full moon.
Yeah, I talked to Justin for a bit today, and he said that him and Nova, which I know they'll be in here in a minute. Let me go to comments. Um, we'll be in a minute. They said that they felt some weird stuff going on, some negative stuff going on, and then um, so we talked about that for a minute. And hold on.
There's a lot more entities on the loose, I find, during full moon.
Well, it brings the parasites out. The water, the push and the pull from the moon, and
Yeah.
as you know, we're mostly
And they're
water.
all traveling in your body to go lay eggs in your gut. So you have that too.
Or you're giving birth to them.
Are you giving birth to them? I reckon there's a few. I've had a few extractions. I
Me
just keep
too.
eating papaya seeds and drinking my husk and trying to flush them out. But yeah, the
Yeah.
toilets look a bit strange.
What how many papayas do you go through a week? How long does one papaya last you?
One papaya gets, if it's a decent sized one, it gets cut into four. So I have
Okay.
a quarter a day. And
Okay.
I eat the seeds with it. Oh, I eat the seeds first, and then I cut the papaya up. And I have, at the moment, we have mangoes. So yummy. And I cut
Yeah.
small papaya pieces and pieces of mango. And that's my breakfast with a cup of lemon juice, like squeezed
Okay.
lemon. That's
Okay.
how I start my day. It's so much better. I used to start my day with a coffee, but I don't think that's very good for you.
Yeah. Did you you said do you eat the seeds all at once?
Like I scoop them out with I have these Chinese spoons. I scoop the seeds out. Like they have to be the big black, where
Yeah.
they're
Yeah. You got to get a
black.
medium. You have to get a medium sized one because
Yeah,
if you get a small one, you're not going to have any seeds in there.
yeah. Like I have the males have the seeds in them, but I just scoop it out and then I just swallow them. If I can't swallow it, I drink a bit of water to swallow them, but swallow them whole. And I figure if I'm
Okay.
at least doing that per day and starting my morning with that, it's still going to draw whatever parasites it can and and get rid of them. But then I also drink that husk stuff as the binder to flush the crap out. So I find it works well.
Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because see, I don't eat my seeds all at once. I save mine. Every morning. I eat a little. I eat a handful, a handful, a handful till they're gone. I have a little tiny jar, and then same thing. I eat about a quarter of papaya when I break my fast. Whenever that is. Whenever I choose to do that, it's different every day. Um. So we do have someone, it looks like someone is on. If you guys can like or send a message so we know you're here, that'd be super awesome. Um, and welcome to Hard Truths. This is a place where Anne and we just talk live, and this is a engagement. You can engage with us. We will answer your questions, and we just talk about everything and anything, and a lot of stuff that people don't want to talk about. That you don't have people who engage too much, and it can have anything to do with really anything that's going on with you spiritually or physically or mentally, because I am a healer and I own a healing facility called Elevated by Claudine. And what I do is I specialize in helping people get off of pharmaceuticals, street drugs, and alcohol onto plant-based medicine. I'm a dosing specialist of several entheogens. I work with about 150 botanicals, And probably about now, I work with maybe about 100 different types of funguses, a lot of different type of um, mycelium, I guess you can say. When I say mycelium, I'm kind of talking about all mushrooms across the board, magic mushrooms, medicinal mushrooms, edible mushrooms, poisonous mushrooms, and decorative mushrooms. So if you want to learn more about what I do and how I help people, go to my website, elevatedbyclaudine.com, and go under services. You can see my products that I have on there. I have some of my products on there that you can purchase. Um, and I have Anne. Anne is my co-host on this live that we do every Monday night from 5:22 to 7:22. And like I said, we just have a live discussion on a lot of different esoteric stuff, which is spiritual stuff. We talk about ETs, we talk about God, we talk about source, we talk about Mother Gaia, and then we talk about parasites, we talk about cleaning the vessel. I mean, there's not too much off the board that we won't talk about unless it is crossing some certain like yucky stuff, and then no, we're not going to go there. But okay, so there's a little bit about me, and I'll let Anne go ahead and introduce herself and let you guys get to know her a little bit. Welcome, Anne.
Hi, I'm
Hi.
Anne. I'm actually a waitress. That's my job, but I work with Claudine. I do a lot of energy reading. I'm a very good energy reader, and I pick up psychic things. Sometimes I'm a medium. I don't really like to do that much, but I'm finding working with the dead is not always the best. It
No.
gets real murky when you go into that territory.
Yeah, I don't like
So,
that. Yeah, that stuff doesn't
no,
sound fun.
no, it's a strange one. And then my daughter was telling me today her best friend is like doing her course in um like aged care and disability and stuff, and she's working with one lady and her son with disability, and apparently the lady has schizophrenia, but what the lady's telling her is her husband died, so she keeps like his ghost keeps coming and haunting her, and but everyone's calling her schizophrenic, so because it's like sending her loopy. And then my daughter told me that this morning. I'm like, oh yeah, she might have a few demons running around from that.
Oh,
When you have
yeah,
when you have death, it opens a an interesting energy portal bubble around you, so I think you have to
it
be a bit
does.
safer.
Yeah.
um,
Like I always say, nothing stings worse than death next to divorce, probably. Or
yeah,
breakup, whatever.
but death, like you actually have someone that you know who has died, so you're actually thinking about death and you're attached to an energy that has now passed on. So how that works for you on the from the other side, like whether that opens like some kind of portal around you that connects you to death, but when you do open that death portal, like I just think it's a bit, you gotta be careful. Like even when you do like mediumship and stuff, like I've done that a couple times, and I always like to monitor myself. Like I always like to keep my thoughts where it's like I'm monitoring how I am afterwards. Like it's a weird thing that I do, but I would say probably for the first 3 to 4 days, my brain is really jumbled. Like I do some things and I just like, what? Huh? Like I will have no recollection. Like I might get a big wad of money and want to put it somewhere, and I put it somewhere that's really obvious, and I've taken some, but so I'll come back and I'll be like, someone took my money, but it'll have been me. Like, you know what I mean? Like your brain just plays all kinds of tricks on you, and you really have to like find a way to reground yourself after a medium, after conversing with the dead.
Yeah,
It's a
I can
different,
imagine.
yeah, the two. I've done like normal psychic readings where it's just reading the human, and like you're a bit bumbled in the head, and but the next day you can find a way to grab. But when you do those deeper ones and you really do connect with something, because you get images and you get things that come to you that you don't know, but you tell the person that you're doing the reading for, and they know straight away. Like you might see a dirt road, or like one time I saw a wheel flying at me, like a wheel coming off the car and just flying at me. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, I just see a wheel flying at me. And they're like, oh, I had an accident one time and the wheel flew off. And, so that's the relatives saying that they were there when that incident happened. But yeah, so you're connecting with something because you're getting real images and, that the person understands. But yeah, I monitor
Yeah.
myself and it's like, it takes me about 3-4 days to like come back to the
Yeah.
ground and like, okay, I'm back to just Anne. Like, even like
Exhausting.
protecting yourself, like they say in the Bible, it says you're not supposed to talk to the dead because, like, when you open that door, that's when demons can like come through and just say,
Hey, I honor the dead. Those are my ancestors, and I will honor them, and I think that is appropriate. You know what I mean? But I don't, give my power up to them or anything, If it's
no.
anything, I honor them. And as you know, I lost my sister-in-law not too long ago, and yeah, I will honor her with they had candles made for her for her funeral. I will light her candle, I put out, her favorite drink for her, but I felt nothing but good energy from her scent, So
Mm.
but yeah, so okay, you guys, so we're just kind of, how's everyone feeling out there? Anyone, you guys have any questions? I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about during all of this energy that we're feeling, and it is all about energy. When it is about me and my life and in my beliefs in what I do with my work, every single bit of it is about energy. Sorry, you guys, I don't know my did I go blank off? Did I just like go
Mm-mm.
off? No. Okay,
I see
my
you.
oh, my screen went completely black. Okay.
Oh.
Anyways, and I pretty much enjoy life. I like life. I'm happy to be here on this planet, serving, doing what I'm doing right now, helping my human friends, and to get everyone feeling good and finding their center and finding their homeostasis and their questions are their answers to all their questions. That's the one thing about my clients. They all have a bunch of questions, you know, and I'm always telling them, just let everything happen organically. The answers will come to you. You ask and you seek, and the answers will come to you
Mm-hmm.
in divine time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but right now, with everything that's going on with all these energies that we're being hit with, especially if you're in a big city, you guys, for my clients right now that are in with me sitting in this shithole of Phoenix, Arizona, this crazy weather that we're having. It's terrible. It's insane. We're not having a winter. We're not. It's hot as hot can be. It's cold in the morning and it's hot during the day. But just finding that center, trying to find that center that has that homeostasis, that has that happiness. So no matter what hits you, you know exactly what to do. You can problem solve it right then and there. The synchronicities, to have the synchronicities right when you need them. And for me to do something, for me to stay in my center, something that I did was I felt called to leave Phoenix, Maricopa County, this past weekend, and I just took off. I took off and I went to Prescott. Went to Prescott and I stayed in a really nice resort, and I went to Bucky's Casino and I won $50, by the way.
Mm-hmm. That's
I had
good.
I know, had a beautiful dinner outside. It was kind of cold, but it was nice. And then the next morning I woke up and I climbed this mountain. It's called Mountain Bruce. And it's just straight up. I mean, it's not straight up, but it's like straight up to get to the top. I went from an elevation of 5,000, hiked all the way up to 7,000. So two total elevations up. And all I had with me was this full of water and a joint. That's it.
I
And up
love
the
it.
mountain I went.
It's all you need, but water and a joint.
Yeah, but oh, okay.
sounds
So I
sounds.
walked, you guys. I hiked for about 2.5 hours, maybe 2 hours and 45 minutes. And then just before I got to the top, I had found this. this cabin. It was way up, way super, super, super high up. I don't know, about maybe a block away, a quarter of a mile away, and you could tell no one had hiked up there like in forever because the terrain was just so high up, and my feet were going in it and just dropping in it and stuff. But I get to the top of this whatever it is, hill on a mountain, and there's a cabin, a log cabin up there, and it's probably about 200 years old. And it was built by all the stuff that was there from the trees there, the logs from
So
there.
cool.
Yeah, mud. It had mud in between the cracks to keep, to keep it insulated. It had windows. It was probably about a 300 by 300 square little room. It was very small. Had a little tiny stove oven in there. Um, the ground was very uneven, very uneven. You can tell where it was kind of starting to fall over the other side of the mountain. But I just thought that was so cool. That was really neat. And then
That's cool.
it was neat. And then I saw some really cool birds. I saw some woodpeckers, and um, I got almost to the top. And then I saw snow. Snow was at the top, which is kind of a miracle right now in Arizona to see snow. I know. Dropped about 10 degrees. And then I just sat there for probably about, I don't know, another hour barefooted and smoked my joint. Got my downloads, connected with Mother Gaia, connected with Source, got everything I needed to get. And then I wanted to finish going up the mountain. And this is a 7 mile and a half complete hike. And something told me no, I know what it was. It was my higher self just said, just go back down because I'm already 2 hours and 45 minutes into this. It's going to take me about that amount of time to get back down the mountain. So I did end up going back down the mountain, and I was gone for over 4 hours, 4.5 hours. So I thought that was pretty funny. And then when I'm driving home, I'm thinking to myself, wow, like I didn't give a shit. I didn't care. I had no fear. All I knew is I needed to get out. I needed to connect, and I needed to find my center again. And I forgot the story about a really good friend of mine telling me about some bears that he encountered on that mountain. Some other friends that encountered some mountain lions.
Hmm.
Yeah, I didn't care about any of that. I didn't care.
That's just your angels going, time to go home. That's what they do. That's how they work. I I've experienced these types of things like
Well, you
when
do when
you're
you go to the
safe.
waterfalls. You go to the
Yeah,
waterfalls. When you're called, you get to go to the
yeah.
waterfalls.
When you go to those mother type places, like spirit just connects real easily.
It
And
does.
usually you have to go out there because spirit wants you to go out there. Your spirit needs to be out there. But
But the
yeah,
thing is, I'm going out there and I leave all electronics. I didn't want to take anything. I took my water because I knew, and that is why I turned around when I got to the top because I was out of water. And I'm like, shoot, I know and I had to go to the bathroom too. That was another thing. So I knew that I can get down faster than if I went around the other way because I've never taken that route to go down that way. So I just kind of knew common sense, just go, where you knew the route. But the thing is think about it. I didn't take any electronics with me. I don't have a picture to show everyone that really cool cabin, 200-year-old, I'm going to say cabin that I found, indigenous cabin. You know what I mean? And I don't have pictures of anything that I witnessed
doesn't
because
matter.
I know it doesn't
None of
matter.
that
Like
matters.
it
You
does.
know
But
that electronics,
do you know how hard it
actually
is for,
you're not supposed to have when you're
right.
with spirit.
But do you know how hard that is for the basic human to do that? Even a high spiritual person to do that, to go and
No.
just leave their phone shut off in a car for 5 hours.
I find
They'd
it
go nuts.
liberating.
For me, it
I
was.
I love it because I have kids, so like, oh, you just always have to have. You just have the. Oh, you have to have your phone on you. Like, oh, they got sick at school. They need to leave school. Like, it's just all the time. So to me, when if I can ever just leave my phone and people like know, just well, mom's gone. Hello, Nova. But yeah, I love it. I find it so liberating to
But people don't do this,
get
Anne.
rid
This
of
is what
them.
I'm trying to
You don't
say. Like,
miss out on anything.
but if people would just unplug from these electronics, that's one way of finding your center. That is one way of
Oh, for
unclouding.
sure.
Yeah,
So
getting
when you do like a board, like Ouija board. I don't know about Ouija boards because I never played with them, but like you can make these circles where you can like with the cup and talk to the dead or talk to spirits, and it does work. Like it's kind of like a Ouija board, but you have to turn off all the devices and your and the TVs, anything, microwaves, everything in the
Oh, I
house.
didn't know that.
And if you do that, your connection like that comes through is so much stronger. But if you leave on all your electronics, it's very hard to get a connection. Like because it comes into your hand and it moves around. But when you want to do it properly, you have to turn off any electronic that you have access to in your house. You turn them all off. Microwave, phones, televisions, radio, anything, and you turn it all off, and it works so much better. But
It does.
that
We
shows you, electronics.
don't you feel a difference from, and any of you guys chime in on here, anyone who's watching, okay? I think we've got,
But
okay, we know
Nova,
we've got Nova on. Yeah, we've got 3 people watching.
oh yay,
Okay, so, all right, I know there's like a 10-year age gap between us, right? So I have a
yeah,
generation ahead of you. About a generation ahead of you, right? The 70s
yeah,
ahead of you. You were born in the 80s, right? Okay.
yeah. But we didn't have any electronics. I grew up with none. I
Don't
grew up in
you remember
trees.
connecting to your angels, to the good, and to your consciousness, your higher self, source itself, so much easier when you were younger? Like it was just there all the
Oh, for
time.
sure, for
It,
sure.
it it's different then than it is now.
Oh, for sure. The technology doesn't bring through good spirit. Like technology is bringing through 4D, which is where lots of demons and entities are all attached to. Like that is the dimension of what electronics is. Spirit is like they're really high dimension. So when you have that, it's cutting you all off. You're not getting when people say to me, "Oh, I think all the spiritual stuff's happening." I was doing this and I went onto my phone and all this stuff popped up and it was exactly what it's like. No, that is not spirit. That is fucking shit that can listen to you and it connects. And this is what 4D can do. And it can almost read your mind at times, like it's connected to you. But it's not your angels. Like, please don't take what's happening on your phone and what's electronically happening and sending you signals. Don't take that as your angels and good spirit talking to you. Please
That's the
understand that is
trickery. That is the trickery.
yeah,
That
don't.
is the
That's not
tricky
true
trickery of
spirit.
it.
You need to go out into Mother Nature and you need to connect with Mother Nature for true spirit. Like that's
Yep.
very, very different. Go talk to your dog and feel things. It's probably more chance that's real good spirit, not the electronic. Like, yeah, it's
Because
very
we
two
don't,
very
yeah.
different things.
They've
Very
taken that all
different.
from us. That's how they stole our loosh. That's how we've been,
Oh,
trapped in because they
yes.
literally have control of our brains. Like there
Yes.
is a there's a nanobot of Claudine in their system, in the game, in part of the remote control game. I know
Yeah.
we've talked about this before, how we feel, that like, there's a remote control on us. And yeah, that through electronics isn't
Yeah.
yeah, isn't the best way to say, "Oh, source just sent me a message."
Oh, no.
Really?
Yeah, that is not
What did
safe.
it say?
That is not safe. I've had
Yeah.
things jump out of me from phones before. I had my son watching, he was like obsessed with jinn videos, and jinns are real. Jinns live in the caves in like the Middle East type of countries, and people have videoed them, and whether they're real or not, but they are real things that exist. And I don't know if the videos are real or not, but either way, they're carrying a spirit. And my son was watching these videos on his phone, and I'm falling asleep next to him. And I'm a very sensitive energy person. Like I do get a lot of like psychic dreams and stuff that are real. So I'm sleeping. I'm sound asleep, and I wake up maybe 2 hours into it. And I've woken up and I've just seen this black figure, which is how the jinns look in the caves. They look like something wearing a big long cape. And I've just seen this black thing just on top of me as I've opened my eyes, and I'm like, oh, it's a jinn, and it's on top of me. Like I full like freaked, and I could just feel this energy coming from his phone, and I'm like, it's a real jinn. It's come out of the phone. And then I've kind of like come to my senses, and got properly awake, and I've seen it's just like my big blue cat. He's like on top of my chest doing the cat thing, but I'm
Oh,
dead. And I'm like, okay, you got to go outside, buddy. Like, he just came through as a freaking djinn. Like, no. But it was, and then I asked my son the next, because I was so like, oh, like, I need to go back to sleep. I was so rattled. And the next morning I asked him, I'm like, Arch, what were you watching? And he was like, oh, Mom, those djinn videos are so scary. And I'm like, you cannot watch that stuff next to me again. Like, we have to sleep in different beds. It dead set. I'm telling you, it was coming out of his phone, and it was my cat, but it looked like a djinn. So
no, I believe you. I've had that. I
it's
have had
real
that same
stuff.
thing too. Yeah, I can't have I cannot sleep with where there's a TV on in the room or where it's in the room. Even if I go stay like in a hotel or if I'm staying in a resort or something like that, I like, and there's a TV there because there's always TVs in there. There's always a TV and a mirror in every freaking hotel you go to or any resort or whatever in the room. I put towels over them.
Yeah, or
Hmm.
unplug them. Yeah, and I'm just reading Nova saying about her son with electronics. I'm going to say something else that I noticed with children, because my partner has a daughter, and she is like, they're iPad kids. Like they grow up with it. It's an easy babysitter. You think it's safe, but she would throw the worst temper tantrums whenever he would take them, especially particular games like Roblox and stuff, which I don't like those games. There's pedophiles and stuff that have been like, outed and stuff being on those games. And kids play them, and they can dress their avatar up in like skanky little clothes. They can be a criminal, and they can kick people out of their house. Like it's just yucky. I don't like it. But young children are like addicted to this stuff, and she gets really addicted, and every time she's on it and then he has to take her off of it, she throws these temper tantrums, and they are dead set like possession, like she's having an exorcism. And it's only when she's been on the iPad and trying to take her off. And I always say to him, I'm like, she's having an exorcism from whatever entity got onto her from the iPad. Like, we just need to let it ride it out. Like, just it's an exorcism because it's so bad. But I was noticing at work there was this little girl, and she was on it. She was like about 6, 7, 8 years old, and she was on her iPad while her mom and grandma were eating, and all sweet and lovely. And they took the iPad away, and it was the same kind of tantrum. And I'm like, it's them damn iPads. It's like an entity that is in this that comes out and wants the kid to just be on it. And when you take it away, what you get out of the kid for the initial bits, like they have to do this sudden detox of the entity of being on the electronic.
Well, plus if that kid is highly vaccinated too, that's
Oh
how they
yeah.
got them hooked because that's what gets the connection. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Um,
they become that. It's an amazing addiction. Like I
it,
can't.
it's a
Yeah,
bad
I
no. It's not just the children.
so
It's
small.
I'm
It's the
sorry.
adults too.
I mean, I'm going to tell you something right now, and this is facts. If a child is on a phone like that or on an iPad like that, they learned it from someone. It's taught behavior. You know what I mean?
Yeah, or the parents just giving it to them all the time. Like, because it's an easy babysitter. Kids don't really want to go play with a toy by themselves. They want you to play with them. They'll say, like, I know I
They
can
do.
do
They do.
it,
They
and
want
that's
that
why you have
interaction with their
siblings.
parent
They do.
24/7.
They
Twenty-four
do.
seven.
Or you have siblings so that they can play with their sibling, and that's the whole idea of it all, so they can play together. Whereas an
Mhm.
iPad and electronics, it's a very singular thing, and the kid just goes on it, but it entertains the kid. So they don't need to play. You don't need to play with them with a toy. You can just put them in the corner. And I know this because my daughter didn't grow up with iPads, but my son did. And there were plenty of times I was a lazy parent and he loved that thing. He'd go eat his food and he'd stick it in front of him and he'd eat his food. And he was just an easier kid when I look back to it overall. But he did have an iPad to grow up with. Whereas my daughter was much more, go play. No, I want you to play. So she was always so like, and she's not as addicted to her electronics, whereas he's much more addicted to them. Like, He can spend hours on his phone and flicking through, social media and being on his games, and where she's much more outdoorsy and active and likes to be with friends and stuff. So, but
So
iPads are, yeah,
Nova, I was
but
gonna
no,
ask Nova, so what is it? How? Okay, so her son's not vaccinated, so that's cool.
that's good.
Um,
You got to be
that yeah.
careful. You have to be careful with children, with
What
the
is it about? How
electronics.
did he get so attached to the? Is it because you're sick and you have a hard time, coping? I know you do. Of course, you're a single mom and having to cope with raising a son. I understand it's not easy. It's very, very, very stressful and a lot of work, especially with as much as they eat. You probably spend more time in the kitchen. My boys ate, so I spent a lot of time in the kitchen when I had my
And
boys.
especially if the kid is very stuck indoors. If there's a lot of
Yeah, what
indoor
is it? Yeah,
time.
because she lives somewhere where it's below zero. She has a lot
Yeah.
of weather conditions that, that can be challenging. So I'm just kind of curious to know, why is he so addicted to the iPad? Like, what was it that um gave him that crutch? And yeah, and getting him off of it, I don't.
Because it's entertaining. It keeps them like, and plus it's a blue light. Like that is just, it's like drugs in their eyes. Like it's just, woo, and their brains getting lit up, and it's colors and it's fast and it's instant games there. Like it's instant entertainment. Think about it. Like what AI gives, and what it offers to people. Like back in the day, we would have like 12 hours in a day to kill, and you had nothing but a TV box. Now you can pick up this thing and you can go and look for anything, and these children have it from the time they can
Okay, so
you
she
know
gives us an answer. Okay, so yes, single
single
mom
mom,
and
no
no.
car, and it's winter. I drive, but he's been adjusting back to living with me.
Okay, yeah, she just got re-custody of him. Okay, I get it. I get it. So you're trying to please him and then at the same, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kids are
Um,
hard work.
oh, that's what I'm trying to say. I mean, I know what it
Really
is
hard work
to,
like that.
yeah. Yeah, hopefully you can find the answers on how to try to,
I think with kids, with the whole electronic thing, um, like for me personally, if you're stuck in these conditions and it is helpful, like, and stuff for your kids, kids are hard work and hours, like to fill up in time, and they're bored. But I would say just be really careful in what they are watching. And if there's as long as they're watching things that are gonna feed them in a positive way, I think you can have less guilt. But if they're there playing Roblox and just mind, things that just monitor your kid. If your kid's coming off and they are having attitude and they're coming up with weird things and they're just being edgy, I would dare say what they're playing with or doing is not good for their energy. Whereas when they're, watching informational stuff and positive stuff, like, they're going to come out with funny little things to say. And so I think that it went with the electronic stuff. Like if I was a mom with my kid, that's how I would approach it more, is just very monitored what is going into the child, because that is feeding their energy. So yeah, some of that stuff out there is not good. Like I watch it because my boyfriend's daughter see watch, and it's not like Roblox. Don't let your children play with that stuff or watch it. It is not a good show. It is not a good game. Everything about it is just evil. One time they had one show, and kids were running away while they were being chased to be cooked in big pots. Like I just saw that and I'm like, what? And this little girl is just hanging onto my arm like while she's watching it. And I'm like, what? I was baffled. I was so baffled.
that is terrible. I know that the cartoons back in the day when I was younger, they weren't the greatest either. They were always trying to boil, you know what I mean? Or run over somebody or do something, all in, game and fun, having fun with it and stuff. But uh yeah, they're like I agree. Just monitor what they're watching. I did hear
Especially when they're real
today.
smart.
Yeah, he's real smart. I'm sure he is. Being the
So
only, usually
smart.
kids that are the only kids usually are really smart. They tend to be pretty intelligent children. The only child, when someone only has one child, I kind of tend to notice that. Uh, was I gonna say? Yeah, I would just be really careful, monitor what they're watching. I think this is a problem across the board in every freaking country.
Yes.
With every mother, every father. I think this is a very normal thing. And this is kind of something I really didn't have to deal with too much. I mean, I raised my children. My youngest is 25. I do have grandchildren though, and they do seem to be hooked on their electronics too. No matter where we go, it's like this. But it's not just the children. The
No,
adults are
it's
just
everyone.
that.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. For sure. I'm
Oh yeah,
guilty. I'm
oh yeah.
guilty of it. I
I'll
get
be
like
here.
that.
Yeah, I went. Okay, so I went and got me there's this place called the Drip. Before I go hiking sometimes, and I'll go in there, and I went in there because they have really good matcha. I like matcha. And so I went to go check out that a matcha lavender something that's a new drink. So I'm gonna go check it out. So I go in there, and I look around, and I'm waiting for the drink to get made. And I look around, and everyone just,
Hmm.
even if there was like six people on one table, and
That's
five of them
rude.
had their phone. Yeah, like
The
what?
other day me and my boyfriend went for dinner, and I was sitting next to this couple, this Chinese couple, and they didn't just have one phone, they had two phones each. They were sitting across from each other, and they're on their phone, but then they had another one there. And I said to my boyfriend, I'm like, look at that couple, like they don't just got the one phone, they got two phones each. Like they're prepared to have that big wall between them. What the hell? What's wrong with people? They go to dinner, lunch, and they sit there and they sit across from each other on their phones. That's so rude.
It's
And some,
crazy. It's what we've come
that's
to. It's just so crazy what we've come to.
time out phones.
Yeah, yeah. All my family is
It's
horrible. Her
terrible.
family, yeah, she sees it too. Yeah, but when I was in Prescott and I went and had dinner outside, this is a restaurant where you sit outside and you have dinner, which was really cool. I looked around, nobody was on their cell phone. Nobody.
Mm, that's
And
good.
there was probably only maybe about 12 people sitting out there eating and stuff. But even when I went inside, it was a house that they turned into a restaurant. So
Hmm.
mostly the seating was outside. There was some, I guess you had to have reservations to sit inside, but I had to go to the bathroom. So I went inside and nobody was on their phones in there either. They made it like everywhere you would go sit down was like a living room. It was really neat. It was a really, I've never been to this restaurant. I've been to Prescott a bunch of times. Anyways, so I just went there and it was really neat. And I was like, whoa, this is such a different culture versus there versus inside such a city like where I'm at Phoenix versus Prescott. And anyone who's in
Hmm.
Arizona, they understand it is a totally two different vibes. And we're only
Hmm.
an hour apart. It's just so funny. But
Hmm.
no, we've lost our ways. We've lost our basic ways of
Have.
yeah, yeah. I mean, what did you do, Nova, when you were little and you were locked up inside and it was snowing and I mean, did they have I know they had computer games back then, and I maybe one each house had one computer. I mean, because I
Not
don't.
when I was young.
Oh no, we
We
didn't
had
know.
no
I didn't have
computer.
any of that when I was little either. No, no,
No.
no, no, no. But
I
I
climbed
didn't live in the snow
trees.
either.
I climbed trees. I was just outside a lot when I was
Hmm.
young. Like
I
that's
was in the
all I
pool.
remember.
I was swimming
Yeah,
all the time. I went to if I didn't have if we didn't have a house at the pool, I was at the neighbor's pool or I was at the school pool. But we were always at the pool or at the beach
yeah.
or we were
I
doing
mean,
something.
yeah. We were just always like playing games, like amongst ourselves, and yeah, like I just remember I was just always honestly. I think back to my childhood. And like I feel like I was just always in trees. Like I was just walking around barefoot, looking at plants, like what I could eat from plants out out in the outdoors and trying like I used to always be getting in trouble because it's like, oh, if you go and eat that and it's poisonous and all the other kids are gonna copy you and follow, and everyone's gonna be because I was just always like getting leaves and is this edible? See a bean.
We used to do it with bugs too. It was so funny. My friends and I, we would dare each other to eat certain bugs and stuff. And
Yeah.
oh my gosh, we used to do
I
some crazy
just
stuff.
I don't know. It's
Crazy
just so much
stuff.
to like explore outside as a kid. But
Okay, so Nova said she'd be outside, yeah, and we'd do some computer, but it wasn't my life. Okay, so I think she's a lot younger. I think she's in her early 30s or late 20s. Um, so that was just one, like we were talking about is, define your center, find your peace, you guys, at this time. It's very important. And the best way really to do that at this time is to unplug from all of your electronics. Do the best you can. When I can't go and escape and run away and go to a mountain to hike or climb, I unplug everything. And that's pretty crazy because I have a business, I have a healing center, I have people coming in and out. Yes, I have to answer my phone and there's a lot you have to do with the business, but I unplug it all. I will unplug every last bit of my outlets. I put my covers, my EMF covers on everything, and I will go and take 20 minutes so that I can connect and get back to that center that I'm looking for so that I can just feel lighter and be able to breathe and be happy, just be really happy. So if any of you guys have any, ideas on how you get your center or how you find your center or some good ideas, please chime in, write them like Nova does. Don't be shy. Don't be shy, people. Um,
my center is animals. I
yeah. Oh,
always
there you
like
go. There's another one. Yes, indeed.
I
That's
always
what I
say
do when I'm home. When I'm at home and I can't unplug everything because that would definitely disturb a few people in that I live with. They wouldn't. You just don't do that to people. Some people just don't understand. What do you mean? If you try to take the electricity away, they wouldn't be good. So, anyways, but yeah, animals. Exactly.
animals.
I get my fur baby, and boy, can they center you. They or a child or a young child. A young child's another way of doing it too.
Mm, mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, child. Yeah, that will like bring you back down to earth. Taking care of your child.
Or just having a discussion with them because their perspective
Oh
on things
yeah.
is so it's so real. It's so
Oh
true.
yeah. Children are great like that. Children, yeah, they'll center you real quick, and then uncenter you.
Okay, Nova says she likes to ground her feet in the morning. Yeah. Do you do that in dirt or do you have a grounding mat, Nova? Because I know you're kind of stuck in the house a little bit with all that snow. I do both. I have a grounding mat that I sleep on at night, and there's that Facebook page. I guess I became a member of
Yes,
it. It's
yes.
called,
Where
huh?
someone was going on about the grounding mats. She wasted way too much energy on that post. I'm just thinking, like, why?
Did you read
But
what
they
I wrote?
might work for some people.
They were just being so negative. I'm like, wait, this person
Didn't read all of
obviously
it.
does not know about grounding mats. And they did it. They had no idea. And then I went, I read a bunch of comments and they were saying the same thing I was saying. So I'm like, oh, okay. So, okay. Yeah. She just must have had a really bad experience and just had to,
Maybe she thought it
let it
would
out.
be like a magical quick fix. Like sometimes people will like go and get these things and do these things and think it's going to be like a quick fix to like, oh, you need to be grounded, that's going to fix your problem. So they go, oh, I need a grounding mat and I'm going to be all better. So maybe something
No,
like
no,
that. No.
no, you can't do that, Anne. I
No,
mean,
but I'm
like,
saying maybe that was her bad experience. Maybe that's why oh, it didn't work like it could have. I don't
but she
know.
didn't do the research on it too either. Like when I got my grounding mat, actually, it all started because someone from the Mushroom Club got a grounding mat, and then Justin got a grounding mat. And then Justin, the smarty pants that he is, he went straight to the public. I mean, it's not the publisher, but went straight to the maker to the distributor and ordered from the distributor, and I have all their information right here, like where we got it from, and it was just great. It was so neat, and that was when my lymphatic system had went out and stuff, and that's what helped me heal. Like it speeded up my healing so much, but it doesn't
Yes.
plug into, yeah. See, it doesn't plug into these ports right here. The electric, it plugs into the grounding port. This part right here, just this part.
Okay.
Every single home that is built, if it's not hundreds of years old, even maybe even if it was 100 years old, they are built to ground. The number one thing that a home builder does is they ground the home first. Ever since electricity's been invented. So, um, yeah, so that's what it, and as long as you're grounding, and the company that Justin and I went to actually sent us a grounding monitor, a real grounding monitor to make sure that the outlet you're sticking it in is grounding at a certain percentage. So, yeah, I just thought that was funny, but
Maybe they just had,
okay.
maybe
Hmm.
they obviously had a bad experience.
She definitely did, yeah, and she let it out, and I think everyone let her. She got like 200 comments back, like you're crazy.
I just think there's no point wasting energy on that. Like it's okay. She's like, we need to
I
stop
know,
the making of these things and the
I
selling.
know. She was so dramatic.
It's
Um,
fun.
oh, okay, yeah, she's into him too. Nova's into him too. Yeah, but Nova, sticking your feet in the dirt, um, sitting on the floor in your home is just as good as having a grounding mat. The only reason why I purchased one was because, for one, I sleep on a two-story. I have a two-story condo, and I sleep on the second floor. And again, I was doing some healing with my lymphatic system, and that's why I have one. And again, I don't have access to the energies that you and Justin and Ann have. You guys are in very beautiful sacred ground. I am in the middle of Armageddon, Babylon, whatever you want to call it. I call it the shit show.
America.
Oh, it's so funny. Some of the messages I got getting on that mountain, I'm like, I'm always questioning spirit, like, well, why, and straight source tells me, Claudine, in divine timing, when timing is right, it happens. And I always ask when, and then I get, the answer that if I knew what I was really getting myself into, and it was going to take this long to help wake up this planet, I probably would have not have done it.
No, I know. I didn't choose it. I was born into it, and then I fell asleep. And
Well,
when I got woken back up, I just heard it's an emergency.
you're on the fast track.
It's an emergency. We wouldn't be waking you up unless it was an emergency.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Because
I
I was
know. I
born like
know.
I grew up my first 15 years of my life was just being taught about the Illuminati and the triangle that's on the dollar bill and what it means and like I didn't grow up learning ABC and 1 plus 1. I got brought up like it's like those camps, where they bring up the social the special, agents and stuff. Like you just get drilled on this is the way society is. And I was just like, this is so annoying. Like, just let me go. So when I left, I'm just like, because you can't go and like take all those teachings and go into the world and like have that idea. You have to go into the world of like, I want to experience the world. And like all that, I just thought that's a load of rubbish. Like, I don't even care. But then I guess the internet started coming out and like people started talking about, and I did see a little bit, like I saw they were talking about Britney Spears and MK Ultra and like conspiracy theory of like, what Hollywood's all about and stuff. And I think my son was about 3 or 4 at the time. So it was a while ago. And I just got my first iPad and I was like seeing the stuff. And I went to my ex-husband at the time and I'm like, they're saying this stuff. And he goes, no, that's just conspiracy theory. Don't listen to it. So I did. I just like went along like, okay, like okay, so none of that was ever true. And he's like, no, that was just crazy, crazy talk. But then in 2020, I like all this stuff was just like being thrown in my face, and people were sending me, this is happening in adrenochrome, and I'm just like, I got hit with all this information, but there was so much backup and like real stuff, like
It's there.
Biden's
The
computer.
videos are there. Okay. There's a video of
Yeah,
every single thing. Come on. It is
there's
what it is.
footage.
Everyone, not everyone has seen those videos,
I
but
saw
trust me, the videos are there.
there's video, there's
They're
footage
all
of
on video.
Hillary Clinton
They're
doing
all on
some
video.
very horrible, like I can't even see it. It's so horrible what you see with your eyes, and it's real pictures. Biden's laptop, people came out, I don't know how it didn't get released to the whole public, but the photos that were found on that laptop, like, and there's so much like evidence to what I was being,
It's still there.
showing.
Yeah.
So that wake up was like, that was an intense wake up, but that's all I heard. Emergency, Anne.
I know. I know.
We wouldn't be
Oh yeah.
coming here waking you up if it wasn't an emergency. So I'm like, okay.
Oh my gosh. I know.
But yeah.
It's so funny because when we collided in 2020, it was like, yeah, so we knew it's been crazy. It has been so crazy because
Well,
what
you're
I
living in
thought,
the thick of it.
huh?
You're living in the thick of it, like
Oh yeah,
America.
we both have known that. I've it the internet, the web, whatever you want to call it, all of it has been, it's been very discerning. It's taught me how to discern for
For
sure. You know
sure.
what I mean?
For
And
sure.
it has its good and it has its bad.
For
But
sure.
man, so much misinformation. Misinformation. It's just, and you want to believe. I remember in the beginning, I just wanted to believe that that there was good in the government. I wanted to believe that. Remember that? I'm like, no, I have to believe. I want to believe that there's
Mhm.
good people in the government. I wanted to believe that that most of them were good. Oh,
It's just
sorry. I don't
not.
know why I keep getting a blank screen, you guys, a black screen. Hold on a minute. What's going on? Okay.
It's not good.
And anyways, that was shattered. That was shattered, and that all came down for me, and I'm just like, oh geez, they are all just super evil.
Mhm. Yeah, well, they're working for a greater evil.
Oh,
You
they are.
know,
They are.
they
They are.
they have their ties, and however all that works in the spiritual realm, like I don't understand it, and I'll never understand it because unless someone explains it to me. But I learned that the Freemasonry handbook, or whatever you call it, is written very taken off of the Kabbalah. So, the Kabbalah is the way they teach spirituality and stuff is very, it's got factual stuff mixed in. So they really know what they're doing properly. They're not just a bunch of experimenting. Like they got a bit of a handbook there to the spiritual realm. And Freemasonry is written very off of the Kabbalah. So, however, they grow up in these clubs and they are all part of it, and they have all their Freemason steps and different, um, where they sit at in that Freemasonry, club and stuff. So, and it's all connected to a spiritual thing too. So whether they learn who their soul is, who they are, I don't know, but they come with jobs. A lot of them. That's what I find. Like Trump, he's a full on Freemason. Like he has climbed that club, however he has in that hierarchy, and he has a job, and it's that simple. And they have to carry out their jobs, and I
And
don't
that's how it is.
understand
Yeah,
how
that's
their
how it is.
souls, where they go.
Yeah. And that's with
Maybe.
everybody. Every single person on this planet has a job, has a job
Mhm,
to do.
mhm.
And it doesn't matter if your job is to just sit there and hold light and be an anchor,
Mhm.
the lighthouse. It's a
Yep.
job. It is a
Yep.
job and it needs to be done.
Yep.
And yeah, we all have a job to do. And some of us just woke up sooner to our job. And what I like to say is we woke up to what we're waking up to is coming home to who we truly are, who are true human person, who our true person is, who we truly are. And when you do that, when you understand that, when you wake up to who you truly are, and it's layers, you learn this about yourself, your true self, you learn that about your true self, like with me. Okay, for me, for example, I started waking up to my true self of who I was, that I came from this bigger energy of love. And by me doing that, it all started with me giving birth the first time. And well, first, yeah, that is what really hit me hard, to say, oh my gosh, I can actually love exist, that this deep love exists. And then I remember getting pregnant with my second child. And I was thinking, I can never love another human like I love this. How am I going to love another human like I love this human? And I did. Then I become an auntie. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. I love another child like I love my child, but in a different way. And I remember questioning myself, saying, how much love do I have to give? And where does this all come from?
It's a
Where
heart
does all
chakra.
this amount of energy that I have of love and this good feeling and wanting to be here and wanting to help people and help people be better and be in their center? And it all just was steps of that going on in life with me. And then I become a grandma. And then I adopt a child, and then I get married and all this stuff. And I realized how much love I really have, which made me realize, yeah, humans are pretty freaking amazing. Humans are, they can produce a lot of energy, a lot of energy. And
Mm-hmm.
it's been shown to me, yeah, that how much energy we really, really produce, because we come from that energy. And it's just amazing when you look at it like that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And we have chakras, and our chakras turn on, and we create this love. And we have our base chakra, and your root chakra, and that's your sexual bit. So, and that's just all energy that it's just coming out of you, and
It's just not your
however that
sexual bit. It's not a sexual bit. It's where your sexual organs are located. That's
yes,
all.
but it's still connected to that chakra. It's still
Right.
down there.
It's life, because that's where life comes from. That's where you
Yeah,
give birth. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yes.
And
But
it's
some
just.
people get stuck with their root chakra. Some people get a lot of energy they feel down there, and they let it stay down there instead of
Oh
letting it,
yeah.
you know, let it go up. Let it not always be about the root chakra, but because when you're whoever that chakra is going to in energy, like that's just being sourced. So you want to make sure that wherever that energy is going, it's sourcing good energy from that
Oh, it
chakra.
is. And that's where your source and your life's source
Yeah.
is, in your solar plex. It's where that energy comes. Well, for me, it is. I've heard different people say it starts with their crown and it works down. Mine's never worked up, come up and down. Mine's always come
Who
from
says that?
up and through. Oh, I've talked to counsel to so many different people who say that their chakra system gets electrified or starts to move from their crown down. Oh, I've or from their heart center. Or I've heard a lot
Yeah,
of people
heart
talk.
center would make that would make sense. I had one healer tell me that when you have a Kundalini experience, for for a male, the energy it comes from their root chakra, but for a female, it actually comes from their heart chakra, but it's the root chakra that turns it on. So it still is being turned on there, but if their heart, like when I went through mine, it was my heart that hurt the most. Like the physical feeling is my heart. I was in so much pain. It was all around my chest area, right around here. And I've like had a lot of like having to understand my heart chakra a lot better, for energy to move better inside my body. I haven't really, like, my root chakra is very like just dismiss, like not much attention there. But my heart chakra, I know it's very, very it's a very important chakra for me. I do struggle with my heart chakra. Like it turns off real easy.
Uh-huh.
So like I think that's why like I get animals and I have that because it helps keep my heart chakra open. Loving my cats and I need things to help my heart chakra stay open and feel that love because it's like not a natural thing. I think it comes from my mom. She's very much like that. She's very like, you know, stiff and very, you know, she's got a lot of love, but she's not super affectionate with me or, but I think it's like in our DNA. So the heart
Oh,
chakra is my very important chakra physically and spiritually. So I can understand that. But if it's turning on from there, going down into your body, that doesn't sound too right. But I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure
well,
it's
everyone's
comes up.
different. Everyone's different the way
Yes.
that they harness their energy or pull their energy source light in and how they, and they emanate it. And mine always comes from my solar plex,
Hmm.
to
Yeah.
my heart chakra. Yeah, into my heart chakra. I can feel it. I can move mine all the way around. I can do all kinds of stuff with my energy inside of me. So,
Hmm.
and I do it through breath work.
Hmm.
And that's something that I've been playing with for a very, very long time is breath work because prana, breath is everything. Without it, you wouldn't exist on this planet. So
Yeah.
I know breath is everything. And and that is exactly how I was able to excel up that mountain so quickly, I feel, and without it stopping was because I kept watching my breath every time I was going to a different elevation. You know what I mean? It's just, this is what I heard. Just breathe with mother, breathe with mother, breathe with mother. And as long as I was breathing with her in the wind, I was just fine. And a couple sips of water here and there, it was good. But yeah, I do believe that the more that you come home to yourself and who you are, the easier it is to connect.
I agree.
It's so much easier. It is, and and it removes blocks. That's how I was able to remove blocks throughout my life too. Is another questions I've had too is how was I able to know the things I know? How did I keep myself um um so elevated and still be able to hear, still be able to listen when so many people couldn't? Why?
Mm-hmm.
And it's because of having that love of energy just always flowing and always doing what I love. Doing as much as I can of what I love. When you do what you love and you do a lot of it, that clears up a lot of blockage.
Mm-hmm.
Creating, especially when you're creating. When you're creating, oh my gosh, that is like the most important thing that we could be doing right now is putting our positive thoughts into this planet, healing, asking for healing for this planet for everybody, and to be creating, even if it's just dinner. It doesn't matter. As long as you're creating something in the better good, the faster we are going to accelerate on getting this planet in more with more peace and harmony and easier life. Because that's what I've been waiting for. I just want life to be easier for everybody. That's all I want. I really do.
Yes, we've got a bit to go.
Yeah. 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 And stop giving our power away. I've been on that slogan for I think what about 3 or 4 months now. Stop giving your power away to the
Amen.
phone, to the computer, to the TV, to the movies,
Everything.
to whatever it is. Stop
Mm-hmm.
giving your power. Even, stop giving your power to people too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, to celebs, to government people, to Trump. Like, oh my goodness, the whole Trump thing. People are just gonna have
Everything.
to.
Yeah, this
ev-
everything.
People are just gonna
Everything.
have to chill out. Because this man is going to come in and he's got a lot more in store for everybody. And you just all got to calm down because that's his whole thing is to just stir it all up. Like even Elon Musk, all this corruption stuff. Like I've been pondering and thinking about it and like what's his agenda? Like he's still a billionaire and everyone's saying like why would he want to help the world? I don't think he wants to help the world. He wants to put the world in chaos. And when you give information that people find out about that is like not good, like in the olden days, we had the kings and queens, and they would feed the people and they would take taxes. And but then someone would come along and be like, no, but they're not doing this right by the people, and they're not doing this right by, and then people would go, oh no, wait, they're not, they're okay, and they would rise up and it would be chaos and it would go into war, you know. That's how in the olden days they did it. Now we have the modern days, and for so long mankind has been we haven't been able to get information for stuff that's happening in our world that's so bad. And it's so, when if people found out, they would just be like, no, that can't happen. So let's say, the Grammys, Beyonce and Jay-Z, Beyonce won Best Country Album of the Year, and everybody's up in arms because she
Are
didn't even
you
get a
serious?
weekend. Yeah, she won Best
I
Country
don't know
Album.
any of this information right now.
Well, Elon Musk came out with some information telling everyone how Jay-Z had paid like 100 million to this station and 5 million to this station to play his wife's music, and like that I guess does boost your way to win. So what they're saying is they paid for this Grammy award. Of course they did. Of course the Grammys would be corrupt as anything. But people are up in arms about this. I'm just thinking, let them have it. Like, this is all they've got left. Just let them have it. Come on, these people have gotten away with murdering children, with drinking blood, with raping people. Like, buying a Grammy is the least of the bad things that they've done. Let them have their freaking Grammy. If that's what makes them feel better in the morning, who knows. But Elon Musk comes out with this corruption stuff, but all that does is upset people.
When did he do that? When did this all happen, over the weekend, or?
Yeah, something like that. Like, I just see like things that come up, and he's doing this corruption stuff, like the investigating corruption, and I guess he lets he comes out with things and releases it because he's all about information, like information for the people, and nothing being hit. Like, I don't know, I don't really follow it. I just see little snippets of things, and I think, and then I see people saying, oh, why would a billionaire want to do this and this, and help the world? And it's like, well, what angle is this coming from? But I thought, he's not helping the world. He's probably going to put the world in more chaos by giving us all this information, because
Well,
people will want to stand up against it, and no, they need to be put in jail, and just it causes chaos. That's what I think. Same as Trump, he causes chaos.
I
Like,
it sounds like to me that this is a prime example, I have to say, of America. What happens in America happens in all the other countries. Because
America's just like a
you're in a whole other country and you know more about what's going on this past weekend in my country than I do. But I unplugged only because I already knew, because we had Super Bowl. We got the Super Bowl that happened this weekend, and then we had the PGA, which is a big golf tournament here in my city, where athletes and famous people come from all over the world and play golf. And I just wanted to go. I'm just like, I'm not dealing with this. And then come to find out, we have the Grammys and all this weird stuff. But that happens every year. Every year this shit happens. Every year. That's why we have a calendar, to keep us busy, right?
exactly.
So
I
that's what
think
it was
it's just
invented for.
ramping up too. Like, I thought, going and getting country album of the year, like, it's so in your face, where it's like it's kind of obvious they're buying their vote. If you ever
Oh,
had
I
a
could have.
conspiracy theory about it,
Hmm.
that kind of tells you. But I feel like they're just becoming so blatant with all this stuff, because they have gotten away with so much already, and they will continue to. That now it's just like, who cares? I want that award, buy me my award because I'm a billionaire. Like, it's just kind of to that extent. And
Doesn't
it's all
mean
happening.
anything.
No, it does. It's a Grammy. I would like, I don't understand. Like, it's an idol. Like, it's a grand. Like, you got to clean it. Like, go buy yourself one. It's so dumb. Like, just because you get one, like, who? Why does that make you someone? Like, I don't understand the whole hoopla about it. But they say, they got their idols. Those are idols. So maybe it makes them feel really good about themselves. Like, who knows? I'm not a singer. I'm not famous, but
I call them American demigods.
it's just all happening in America. Yeah, because you got that, but that's what they created celebs for. They're just a modern day demigod. And I've said
Demigod.
this to someone before, and they got super angry at me, and they're like, "No, a demigod is like Poseidon and Thor. Those are demigods." I'm like, "Yes, but in our matrix, we don't have those people anymore. They can't. It's not that reality anymore. So they have to create
They're
different
not
demigods.
influence. Yeah, they don't
The
influence
problem
in the
with the
way. Yeah,
demigods is they all die. They're still just human. Like they're all so your demigod and Jay-Z or Eminem, they're still a human being and they will die. Like it's just the way it is. They're not Thor that's gonna live, and be this big, huge, like it's this reality. So this is what this matrix created was demigods for our reality in these celebs. So
right. Yeah, influence. And
demigod.
so I have to say, because again, I said I talked to Justin, one of my clients, and we were talking today, and I will call him every now and then when I just want to release some stuff because he understands. He's very highly elevated and has a great awareness of where I'm coming from most of the time, I think. But if not, he likes to listen. So, anyways, I have to say, so Justin was telling me that him and Nova were having this really bad, weird energy experience going on the last 3 or 4 days. So there you go. Ta-da! We had all these weird energies. He did say that they felt kind of dark. He's like, they felt like that stupid stuff that they do on the full moon that you talk about. And I'm like, well, yep, probably. So
Yeah,
yeah,
they're
so we
all
had
around the
Grammys,
place.
we had
They're
Super
just
Bowl.
crawling around
So
everywhere.
yes, yep, that's what you guys are feeling. And then I have another piece of information that I got that I don't know much about. I heard this some chatter going on that we have two Lions Gates, but we've
To
never been
what?
informed. Two Lions Gates,
To Lions
Lions
Gate.
Gate. But we've never been told about the second one that comes on February 8th.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Either did I. Either did I. So I heard a little bit of this chatter going on a spiritual page that I listened to and stuff, and it was just really a real quick, brief thing about it, and I was just like, huh. Wow, I wouldn't surprise me. It would not surprise me for them to keep such an important event because I do believe Lionsgate is a very important portal because it is when Source Light does bring in a lot of light because of the aligning of the planets. And it
Planets.
does feel good around when the 8-8 portal comes through. It does feel good. It is a good.
Lions
It
Gates
feels good.
are
Yeah.
very powerful. They actually date back. The reason why they're so powerful is because they're from the Lyrans. I found out. Lions, Lyrans. So it's a very,
Yeah.
very, very old portal. From the Lyrans. But that's a real portal. I don't care what anyone says. Whenever that Lionsgate and 8-8 comes up, like I always just brace myself. Like okay, and I always feel it. I feel it get suck me in, and I feel the whole everything that's happening in that period. It's like whoa, and I just gotta go with it, and then I feel it spit me out, and it's like I'll finish the Lionsgate, and I'll be like, yeah, okay, I've learned this. Like
Yeah, it
they're
is.
really powerful
It's a
portals.
very weird, powerful at many times couldn't have explained the energy, but it was always very exciting. And yes, Nova, I agree with you. She couldn't stay awake. So same on Friday, the 7th. That was the 7th. And so supposedly if this Lionsgate was real, plus all of this other, no wonder why, you guys, no wonder why they put so much on that weekend. Super Bowl that weekend, the Emmys that weekend. That makes total sense why they would do that. You know what I mean? And
Mm,
they keep it from us and do these other rituals. That totally makes sense. But
mm.
same thing on Friday. I left here, and usually on Friday I go to the races and I go watch my grandson race, and he does race late at night. He doesn't start till 8 o'clock. But I usually just work till around 7 at night at the facility here. Then I head out and I go out to the races. And I watch my grandson race almost every Friday night. That's what I do. I couldn't do it this Friday, Nova. I went home and I was asleep by 8 o'clock at night, slept till the next day till about 6:30 in the morning. And I'm usually at between 5 and 6:30. That's about normal time for me. But not when you sleep like that. That's like 11 hours of sleep I got. I felt so good
Mm.
um
I think your
on Saturday.
spirits are just taking over when those things are happening. Like your spirit just knows what it's supposed to do, and it's like
Yeah.
you just need to sleep. I've experienced stuff like that. Like New Year's, want to go out and do, and my butt, I just haven't. I can't move. Like nah, I just need to go to bed and sleep, and I'll just bang asleep and just out till the next morning. Wake up and I'm just like boom, and everyone else hung over. But like, yeah, I don't know. I say I cannot explain what takes over me sometimes, but I have to just go because it's like it's in my body. It's like I just always put it down to it's my spirit. Like, because our human has thoughts and ideas and plans, but what I've learned is you've got your human and then you have your spirit. And when it's not in alignment, that's when things go wrong. So you want to try and get it into alignment so that they're agreeing with each other. And I just feel like sometimes your spirit just takes over because it knows better. It knows, no, these energies aren't good for you. We'll just put you to sleep. We can protect you, and or something bad's gonna happen. So that's not a good night to go out. Time to go to sleep. Like I can't explain it, but yeah, you do. You just got to. You can't stay awake. You
Oh,
literally. My body gets real heavy. It's like I want to get, and I'm trying to do my makeup. It's like no, I just got to sleep. Like I just can't move. But I just put
okay.
it
So
down to
no, yeah, same thing. Nova said, let me see if I can do. Okay, yeah, I passed out with my legs hanging off the bed. I needed more and more. It scared me because I have my little one and me. Oh man, that would be so
that's
scary.
hard. That's
Oh my
difficult.
gosh, that and then plus she's detoxing too. She's withdrawing, so that probably contributed to it too. And it's
Yeah,
so funny because when you're detoxing off of the type of pharmaceutical she is, you're not supposed to be able to sleep like that. It's supposed
really.
you're the other.
The energies just must be so strong. Like,
Oh yeah, no,
yeah,
but no, I felt it too.
used to.
I had even here in Phoenix, so and I'm right in the middle of the war zone right here, so. You guys, California's just a hop and a skip. That's another part of the war zone, I feel. And
Mm. You feel it is.
huh?
It's not you feel it's part of
Oh,
the war zone. It
it is
is.
such a dense war zone for
Hollywood is Satan's playground. He lives in Hollywood, everybody. That's where he has set up shop and is he's do you know that LA, like the actual like land is very sacred, like very powerful land. Like there's a reason it's LA and it became what it became. Like
It's probably Lemurian because they have Shasta right there. It's probably Lemurian.
it's something very important
Something,
about
yeah, who
that
knows?
land where it
Yeah.
sits in the point. But Satan went and built his house in California. It's
You
called
did.
Hollywood.
It did. It sure did. Um,
When I was watching the Grammys, like I don't know if anyone else can see this stuff, but to me, all those celebrities, a lot of them, especially the big ones, they're all looking like vampires that haven't been fed in a while. I don't know. Whenever I look at them, vampires haven't had their fix of blood, like, and they start looking kind of drained and pale. I thought a lot of them were looking like that. I don't know if I can like see their spirit, but it's like I see it on their bodies, but they look like a bunch of vampires that haven't been fed a good meal in a while. They're just drained.
oh
Like I'm
yeah,
not.
they look so okay, so the
The
only
blood
ones
supply is drying up.
okay, so I haven't seen much of anything. Like I said, I've been unplugged. I got on my phone a little bit today, but I was just doing work. I didn't get on scroll through anything. I didn't read anything, but I did have a picture of Trump and his son show up on my phone because I have Google, so Google News shows up, and his son was on there, and I thought to myself, "Holy moly, that's a vampire! That kid is a vampire." He looks like a
Really?
vampire. He
He
sure
does.
does. Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And I do, yeah, and I can
He's
see the
got a
grooming
he's
art.
got an interesting energy, that kid, that
Mm-hmm.
Trump's son. I will agree with
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
All
Yeah,
his children do. All his children have a very
they
interesting
do.
energy.
They
They really
do.
do. They do.
They look like people who know things. Especially Ivanka. She looks like she knows things. Like,
Okay, here we go. Here we go. We're gonna go here with these people, okay? Because I am not gonna give them um that much credit, okay? They have knowledge. That's it. They know things. You're right. They know things, but they
they
have
know.
no wisdom. They have no wisdom. If they had wisdom, they would be in the situation that
No,
they are in right now.
no, but they know
No.
things.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, they do. They do know things, and good for them. Yay for them. But you know, the thing about them now is they're just the same as us. They're normal people. They don't have any extra powers. They can't have any, no matter what they do, they cannot pull the trigger anymore. They have nothing over us. They're
There's
just
a
basic
limit.
human.
Yeah,
Hmm.
there's a limit. There's a
Yep.
limit to spirit, isn't there? There's-
Well, it ran out on them. That's for sure. That's the time. That's what we're here for. Again, we're the human. We're the powerful one. We're so powerful because it goes all the way back to us being from source light. And you know Simo? He just
No,
gave us a red heart. Let's go ahead and.
who's that? I don't know. Thank
Oh, wait a
you.
minute. I don't know if it just keeps giving us hearts.
Oh,
But
so
I
sweet.
can't.
I don't know
The
who it is.
weird thing is I can't put it up here, so I don't know if it's
That's
because
okay.
if it's an
I trust you.
emoji or whatever. But anyways, okay, I'm gonna quit playing with it. Okay, you guys, and again, for all of you guys who are just joining us or who are coming on, this is Hard Truths Live, and I am Claudine with Elevated by Claudine, and I help people get off of pharmaceuticals and street drugs and alcohol onto plant-based medicine. And we just help people get to their trauma, and we help people as much as we can. This is a live where we just talk about everything and anything that is has to do with the cosmos or with esoteric stuff. Um, and we just give you the hard truths, the hard things that people don't want to talk about, and how we see it, and what we see when it comes to being a human on this planet and being, I guess, what you could call spiritual.
Spiritual. I just say spiritual now.
I
Everyone
know.
calls me spiritual, so I just have to go with it. I
I
can't
mean,
fight it any longer.
so many different titles. Yeah, I just like to say
Mm.
esoteric.
I just never
Um,
liked spiritual because of my upbringing. Like it was so, it's like the whole spiritual agenda was so pushed on me that it just it turned me off. You know, when you have all these spiritual adults who are like saying they talk to God and stuff, and they're all telling you, God told me this and God told me that. You get to a point where it's like, that's not God, that's just you. Like you're just annoying me. And you know, when you're a child, I say children, they don't have all that conditioning and programming that goes on. So your senses are still much more in tune with the spiritual world. I'm seeing a shift in some, definitely. Oh, for sure. So many shifts. It will just continue. This is what Trump is here for. He's just going to keep shaking everyone up. Like, there's going to be no time for rest in this next 4 years of Trump presidency. Like, and when you have unrest like this, it does. When you have someone shaking your where you're living, it wakes you up. Like to wake someone up, you shake them, don't you? Wake up. And when it's all that, the Democrats were just, oh, let's sleep, let's all slumber, let's all be happy. But yeah, Trump has a very different, way of doing it. He's coming in to shake the hornet's nest. So the next 4 years, like, yeah, there'll be a lot of shifts that happen because that's what we're being, that's what's we're in for the next 4 years. But What was I saying before? I was saying something about. I can't remember. I was saying something about myself. I don't remember, but
Yeah,
Connie might
that's good.
remember.
I'm glad though that she's seen a shift in so many people on the other side. And plus, no, but you're probably also seeing a lot of good stuff coming from people too, because the more sober you get, the more sober you get, the more your eyes get sober. You get sober eyes on more and more every week. You're seeing things for what they really are on a different level than you being so clouded and masked with the pharmaceuticals. And was that your thought? Was that there? Because to be honest with you, you're kind of hijacked there a bit with being on all those pharmaceuticals. um Nothing but good things coming your way anyways. So, but yeah, you having to like realizing and seeing other people having shifts, that's really good. I'm going to take that as a thumbs up, a win for the humans here, for us that are working on this, elevation of, I like to call it the new earth. That's what we're here to do. We're out here to help create the new earth and get it going, to be at service to humanity, to practice compassionate action. And so many people wonder, like, what can I do to be part of this? What can I do um to get this going, and I have to say is just be your authentic, loving self. And like I said, create whatever you can create,
For
even if
sure.
that's just a rock stack. Who cares if you can just create a meal? That's like a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
That's what
That is a good thing.
now I remember what I was talking about. Spiritual. The term spiritual and calling
Oh,
yourself
yes, 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 yes.
like, yeah. That's the only reason why I don't like saying it. But I'm very spirit. I'm definitely more spirit based than I am human based at times. So I have to learn to work with it more and accept it more. Yeah. Sweet. Yeah. Being spiritual is like, I think, you know what I found out? The highest, they did a study and they did experiments and they found the highest vibration a human can have is authenticity. And for me, I find with spirituality, it gets very murky and it gets very complicated because everyone has their own, oh, this and that. I find for me, what works best is just being as authentic as I can. And I find as long as I'm authentic, I find that I can like the right things are coming through me as a in a spiritual like I'm not there trying to like connect with spirit. I'm just authentic. And if it comes, it comes.
Yes,
And if it
yes.
doesn't come, it's not there. And that to me is what spirituality is for me. It's just being as authentic, being as kind as I can. And when I'm in a bad mood and I'm being not a very nice person, acknowledging that and understanding because we can't be perfect. We're human beings.
Oh,
We're a spirit having an experience as a human being. And we have to like find a way to come together, spirit and human in ourselves and connect with ourselves in that
I
regard.
always say spirituality isn't all rainbows and unicorns
No,
and fairies, and like the way that you have a lot of people talk about it.
no.
No, not at all.
Do you know
Not at all.
I become much more spiritually vulnerable when I'm in a bad state, when I'm having a lot of hardship and I'm having a lot of stuff come at me on a on a like an energy level, and I become more vulnerable in myself and I'm upset, I become much more sensitive to the spirit realm. Like, I don't like to be vulnerable. And like, I don't want to go through a breakup and have that sadness because I'll just feel everything and I'll get way more dreams coming in. And like, my spiritual experiences go up a notch when I'm struggling more in life. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's not always fun and happiness. I think that's where what you want to achieve as a spiritual person is that love and happiness and stuff. But yeah, that's not always what
It's
comes.
what they call the 5D. They want to reach that 5D of love
Yeah.
and peace, and you know what I mean? And it is. If I had to explain the 5D to me is that being able to find my center. Again, that's what I keep talking about.
Mhm.
Finding my center really fast, and then being able to pull all my energy together, you know, and in minutes, just being able to get my energy together, get my peace together, find my center, and naturally feel grounded in
Mhm.
just that, and being able to do that as quickly as it would for me to go into the bathroom and go to the bathroom. You know what I mean?
And there's your 5D.
That to me is like
That's
the
it
5D
is.
energy that I guess everyone is, that for me, that's what it is for me. Okay. And and then at 5D, another thing would be for me is that when the issues arrive, as the issues come towards me, to have the synchronicities, to have the answers that I need at the time that these issues
Yeah.
are arriving.
That is that
That
is
to me is a 5D. If I
for
have to
sure.
explain it, because I don't know, I really gonna be honest with you, I don't believe in that shit.
5D is pretty much being able to like come out of all the 3D shit that's happening in our world and being able to ascend from it and be on a higher level where that stuff isn't affecting you. When they come out with COVID and vaccines and you're not all like being affected by all the fear and stuff because you are able to go into 5D and detach yourself from that human energy, like, everything that's coming from 3D.
Emotionals. Yeah, the emotions that
Yeah, it does.
you're,
I understand the two different
yeah.
3D and 4D and then 5D. Like I understand it and
If
what
you're in that linear brain,
they're
if you're in that linear to brain mindset, okay, your cause and effect are going to be completely different versus
yes,
if you are in a higher consciousness
yes.
of understanding and knowing that that's what life is about, cause and effect, cause and effect, cause and
Yeah.
effect, cause and effect. You know what I mean? It's kind of, it's what kind of causes the balance. You know what I mean? There's a balance in everything. There should always be
Oh
a balance in
yes,
everything.
for sure.
Yeah. And the way you
And it
react to the cause, the way the cause reacts to the effect, it's just that's what it's all about. And okay, so yeah, okay, Nova. So Nova says that her brother said something about changing our consciousness. I didn't expect that from him at all. That is funny. When a 3D person starts talking about consciousness, that's good stuff. That is good. Like I'm laughing in a good way, Nova, because that is huge.
But it's true, Claude. I had this funny like little feeling or thought right around New Year's. I was watching these videos from New York City, and they always do the big countdown there, and there was like so many people, like just millions of people, and they had the camera down on them, and I saw these guys, and they're all like down in the crowd, and they're drinking their alcohol and getting all ready to do their New Year's, but there was just millions of people around them, and I just saw that and I thought, wow, that's really 3D. Like you could not pay me to do that. Like that is like where the cockroaches are. Like who does that for New Year's? I can't think of a lower vibrating thing to do, but like that's some humans, like that would be so much excitement in their life to go and do that and have drinks and count down New Year's in Times Square. Like, whereas I'm there going, I can't think of anything worse. That's so 3D. Like, and then you're just gonna wake up with the worst hangover with someone in your bed that you don't remember, and then you're gonna start all your drama with that whole scenario. Like, and then what? Like, that's 3D. I'm over here being 5D. That's how I see 3D and 5D now.
But
You
that's
just
not
you
really
change
how,
the
yeah, I know,
things
but
you
that's
want to
not
do.
what people are teaching. That is not what, so many of these spiritual
It should
advisors and
be.
spiritual people.
Well, they should be, because that's just really easy stuff to understand. Like that's where when you shift that consciousness, those things you look at and you think, oh yuck, like because you don't connect to that stuff anymore. Your consciousness would not even comprehend doing that with yourself because you've shifted like back in the day I probably would have, oh that's so cool, but my state of consciousness would not allow me to partake in those things. So, but they should. That's very. Isn't that very simple? Like 3D, 5D. Like it doesn't need to get so complicated.
I
It's
know.
just
None of it should. None of this is really. I mean, of course, when you get
spiritual.
behind the yeah, when you get behind the veil and the veil's lifted, things do get a little complicated, But
Yeah.
but letting it happen organically and naturally is so much better. And then
Yes.
people just my number one thing for me to tell people is to question everything. Question it all, especially if it triggers you. If it triggers you, because I again was on another Facebook page again, and they were talking about how dreams are not really what we think they are, that they're not really real, and that we get we get taken and stolen in our dreams. Like dreams are not good. And it was just a really,
Yeah.
you know, and oh my gosh, this person got so much backlash and people were saying such horrible things. And I was like, people, whoa, 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 wait, 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 wait. Like, why are you guys so upset? This person is just giving their perspective on something about
Mhm.
dreams. And
Mhm.
so if it's rattling you like that, you need to question it. You need to look into what it is that
Yeah.
is bothering you, because I didn't get that reaction when I read it. I was like, "Ooh, I think this person's kind of right. He's talking about something. He's on to
Mhm.
something."
Mhm.
And especially
Definitely
when he
protect yourself in your sleep. Protect
oh,
yourself in your
exactly.
sleep.
It's your most
Very
vulnerable.
important. Very important. Like, yeah.
Um
I remember I was having a experience in 2020, and I was reading all about the children and the adrenochrome, and I was learning how black children's blood and body is actually worth more on the black market, like in blood and stuff. And I was just learning like factual stuff. And in my sleep, I just kept having the same reoccurring dream, and it's like I was being taken, like something was coming out of my mirror and take me into this matrix thing, and I was having to like try and fight to get these souls, and I would see all these like these things coming out of webs like hands, but they were faceless, and I was like, and I just kept having the dream, like just this experience over and over, and I ended up getting like quite sick and like having all this pain in my body. And I went to like the spiritual lady, and she goes, I think you need to protect yourself in your sleep. I keep seeing like a big sword that's like going down the side of your, and I'm like, I could see it too. I hadn't said it to her. And I'm like, yeah, I think I'm like in a battle or something in my sleep. But I had to protect myself. I had to cover my mirror. I had to like, take things out that were making me more active in my, and it got better, and I got better. But yeah, I agree with that. Like if your spirit is like, I was getting really angry about the children, like someone needs to save these children. So I think my spirit was kind of saying like, I'm up for this challenge. And while I was sleeping, here you go, Ed, there's a job to do. So I
well,
agree, protect
I do
yourself when
you
you sleep.
yeah, I agree with you on that. When, that's some more advice I like to give people. When you're sleeping, you're in your most vulnerable state, you guys.
Yes.
And
Even with alien stuff too, like,
oh, but
you
definitely.
have to say, that when you're sleeping, nothing, including the aliens, are to touch your body. Like nothing can come near you, and make that command, because if you don't put those rights onto you when you're sleeping, like,
If you don't put a Faraday cage around you when you're sleeping, they will do it for you. Okay.
yeah.
I do believe that there are entities and certain types of demons that do run the different dimensions of sleep.
Mhm.
REM sleep, realm sleep. We have all these different types of sleep.
Yeah,
So
theta
there
sleep.
And
Hmm.
I do believe that there are different, and I would call them lower level demons or lower level entities, whatever you want to call them, that do rule over these areas. Okay. This
Hmm.
has been a dark planet. These are the dark ages. We are in a war. We are in a
Hmm.
war with these entities and with this darkness on this planet. And so my best advice to you would be to put your own Faraday cage around you, because if they can do it to you and trap you and get you into sleep paralysis, come on now, you guys.
Mm-hmm.
You can do the same thing for yourself. You are the human. You are the most powerful. You are more powerful than any of these lower level demons, okay? Now, when
Mm-hmm.
we're talking about the higher ones, sorry, you have no chance. In the
Well,
past, we
did
had
you
no
know?
chance. We had
Did you know
no
when you
chances against these higher power ones. No, we did not. No, they
who
they
we
they
don't
pulled the plug, huh? They
who
they
we
pulled they
don't?
pulled the what?
What are you saying? We don't have any chance.
We didn't have a chance when it came to the bigger, higher, powerful ones that ruled this planet because they dictated what we could and could not do. But
Yeah.
that's all gone. This is the new ages. This is the Aquarius. I mean, we're in the year of or the ages of Aquarius. It's different. They are gone. They can't be on this planet with the energies
Mm-hmm.
the way they are now because it's just too high vibrating. Our consciousness has risen to a certain level. Nova just proved that by having a brother who is, she says, is very linear and is Gemini lifestyle. And he is now talking about consciousness. That
Mm-hmm.
right there says something in itself right there. That's great news. That just shows you that, yeah, we have rise in consciousness on this planet. So these lower level or higher level entities just can't be here anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But
That,
again, whatever they can do, you can do. So
yeah.
make sure you do put a sleep protection over you when you're sleeping, because you are most vulnerable when you are asleep. You really
Mm-hmm.
are.
Yes.
And
Well, did you know that sex dreams are demons? Like that is
exactly,
not. If you are having sex dreams, you should rebuke it and tell it to go away because that is if you're a male, that is a succubus that is coming and doing that with you, and if you're a female, that is an incubus that is coming and doing that with you, and they are real demons, and they are connected to the marine the marine spirits, which are more. There's a lot of them in Africa, and the Africans that do their magic, they worship these marine
the
spirits.
leader
Very powerful
of
spirits.
the
Um,
leader of these of the succumbus energy is Eve and Lilith,
mm-hmm,
who combined forces and they became that twin. Okay,
mm-hmm.
that is folklore. And I love
Well, I found out.
ever since I was little, I've always listened to folklores and to old indigenous stories
Mm-hmm.
and to prophecies because there's truth in there. Okay. So the thing about it, I don't know if you knew this, Anne, but that a succubus, am I saying that right?
Succubus. A
The
succubus.
succubus can also become the incubus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's how powerful
They're
Lilith
very
is.
powerful demons.
Very
Very
powerful.
powerful demons.
Very powerful.
I've
And
experienced them in my awake, asleep, awake, but real, proper physical experiences that I I know that I'm not crazy experiencing them. So, and I do not have sex dreams. And when if I have anything around me comes in my sleep that makes, starts to do anything in my sleep, my spirit will reject it. Like my actual, and I will wake up and I'll remember it, but it will reject it from and it won't let it around me. So they're very, they are real spirits. I learned that marine spirits actually come from, like, the reason why they're so powerful is they were part of the fallen angels when they were mixing seed with animals, and you were getting half horse, half person, and all that kind of stuff. And God came in and he had the flood and he flushed all that stuff out of our planet. But the problem with this marine spirits is they were the half fish, half human um, creations, and they swam away because it was a flood. And that's where marine spirit comes from, is from that interbreeding of fish and man, and they fled during the flood, like they got away in the floods and they became marine spirit. And incubus and succubus come from that whole, and that's why they are strong spirits that, they can cling on to people. They can be a part when a woman is going out and she's doing up all her makeup and getting ready to go out. So a lot of the time That is a succubus spirit that is coming out to play, not the female. The woman thinks that it's her going out, but she has a succubus spirit attached to her. And they do. They attach themselves to humans, and, you know, they find a human that they can go into their energy and feed off of, and that's how they work. And, you know, it's in a sex way. And when you dream of sex, it's those
And they can
spirits.
climb and hijack your body. They can,
Yep.
this is real. This is real. We
Yep.
also have yep,
Yep.
there's walk-ins too. We got walk-in spirits who can do
Yep.
this, and they can come in and out. It doesn't matter how high your consciousness or your awareness is, they can go into, they're pretty powerful. But
Mhm.
as far as I know at this point in time, that they're not powerful anymore. But if you
No.
are having weird dreams and you are
Yeah.
having sex dreams and you are having they're just trying to find somewhere to harvest themselves. They're trying to, hang
They're
on to keeping
desperate.
this planet. Yeah, they're very desperate. They can no longer do any kinds of fun tricks or anything. Ask them
Mhm.
to, tell them to. Oh, well, if you want me to have sex with you, then do this, do that. They can't anymore. They don't have any more magic. It's a low vibrating it's just it can't, because we're so high vibrating, they're so low vibrating.
But they feed off of our energy, and
They
that's
do.
just how they
D-
work. They feed off of
Darkness
human
does
energy.
not have its own light.
No,
Darkness
they
does not
use
have its
us.
own light. It does not have its own energy. So they have to feed off of light, and we are light. And
Mhm.
so again, you can protect yourself. It is as easy as just shielding yourself, putting a shield over yourself. And again, when I do that, I pull that energy from my solar plex to my heart chakra out, and then I put a big bubble around me, and I will do all kinds of different things all the time. Sometimes I will do a heart-shaped protection,
Mhm.
and I make it very strong, and I just nothing can touch me. I know that. I know that. I mean, I'm here. I'm healthy. I have been through a lot of shit in my life, a lot of crazy stuff, and I'm a true believer. If source brings you to it, it'll bring you through it.
Yes.
So,
Another thing I've learned from, like, with protecting yourself is when it comes to angels in the higher dimensions, they can read your thoughts, but demons and entities and lower vibrating things, they can't read our thoughts. They can only hear the things we speak. So when you want to protect yourself, or tell these things that they have no power over you, or tell them to go away,
yeah,
speak it out
tell them to
loud.
piss
Speak
off.
it.
Piss
Tell
off. I
them,
say that, piss off. Get out of
yeah,
here.
even the aliens say, you cannot you have no access to my body or to my spirit when I'm sleeping. And just say these things, in your room when you're by yourself. Like, if you really want to, you know do, like, get deep in how you protect yourself, it does help. I do. Someone taught me this. A Christian lady taught me this, and she said the demons, they can't read your thoughts, and they can only hear you. So I came home and I did it, and I said it out loud, and I say it out loud and it works. It really does make a difference to me, and it helps. And you don't have to scream it. You just have to whisper it and say, "Fuck off, get out, leave me alone."
You have no
And
access
you
to
have no
this. You have
access over
no
me.
access
Yeah. This
to.
is my body. This
Mm-hmm.
is my energy, and you have no access to it. And command. And it's as simple as that. And it
Yeah, it's that
really,
simple.
really,
Yeah,
yeah, it
yeah,
really makes a difference.
it does. You give them no access to you at all.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, be real careful, like she says with the ETs. Please be careful with the ETs. I played in that realm for a very long time, and thank God I came out pretty good. They are mostly evil.
If they're experimenting on your body, it's not the best. I don't think anything should ever infringe on something you're not aware of, and you're not in control of, to, or have given permission. So yes,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's
Mm-hmm.
evil anyway if it's doing that. So yeah, even if you can't see
Yeah.
it and you feel something's a bit off, just do it. Just do it for the sake of helping yourself have a bit more protection for the things you cannot see. That's what, that's my best advice that I give people. Even if something's just feeling a bit off to you, or you're waking up and you had some weird experience, like just stop thinking about it and just say, you have no access to me. And that's it. Finish. Because
Yeah,
you are
yeah,
in
it,
control. You
yeah,
give the
and
commands.
they come in galactic angel. They come in a lot of different different types of I guess you can say planets, I guess is, you've some call themselves the Palladians, some call themselves the Greys, but I don't know. I think they might just all be reptilian.
I don't know. I haven't like physically come in
That some of
contact
them
with
are very
anyone.
charming, very charming.
Mhm.
I can tell you that extremely charming. I've had conversations with a lot of them. I've had so many come through this facility that I own. Um, and as charming as they are, they're not good.
Absolutely not.
They are part of the Council of 10.
When something's charming, that's when I really question it. That's the first. If something seems too nice, I'm just straight. What's up? What's up?
What's up? What's up? What's up? Yeah, I mean, this whole ET thing is, and I'm really, no, but I'm really glad about disclosure. I'm glad that disclosure came out. And when it started to come out is when I really started to be like, wait a minute. Oh gosh, again, giving up my power to believe in this, believe in that fairy tale, believe in that. Because, again, you always want to believe in the good stuff. Like, is there a good guy in any of this story that we're playing in this game of life, of this is there any good guys here helping us? Nope.
We have to be the good guys.
We have to be the good guy. We are the good guys. We are the heroes of this story. We truly are. And when that is finally was presented to me, and I was just like, oh, it's all about me.
It's true.
Um, you're not laughing at it at the time. That time you're kind of like, oh man, I gave my power
I
away to
didn't like
this.
it.
I gave my power away to that. But it's so easy to call your power back in. It just really is easy to call it all back in, and you live and you learn, And now I'm glad that I can sit here and you guys, I can watch any of these high spiritual people giving advice who are making a lot of money from you, from the people out there, because you're paying for to hear what they have to say. Most of them don't even have a product. By the way, I do have a product, you guys. I have products. I have lots of products. Go to elevatedbyclaudine.com and you will see my products. So that right there should tell you something. And we're not trying, I'm not trying to get anyone's money or anything, but us doing this live. Plus, we only have like 3 viewers a night anyway. So, but again, we're still here. We're still feeding what I like to call the live wire, our good juju.
Mhm.
But um, yeah, it's a lot out there when you find
There's
out
a
that
there's a lot. It's only getting worse.
these people who are channeling like all this like these great really neat energies that are supposed to be here to help us, no, they're channeling something else.
It's true. It's true. It's so true.
And
I have
sometimes, yeah, there I so
I've looked
um
into a lot of it, and like I come from a very, like I said, a very spiritual background where it was all that's all I was introduced to. So my spiritual awareness, I would have to say it's one of the things that I pride myself in is like when someone starts talking about this and that and it's all spiritual, if I'm going to listen, I'm going to tune in and like who are they speak, and it's like it's a lot of like yeah it's a lot of untruths in there, people. It's a lot of like people's own agendas, people's own thoughts, people's own experiences. And personally, I think with spirituality, like I say, everyone has their own hologram, everyone has their own, what they go through. And just because one person, like with spirituality, I find it's good to listen, and it's good to like keep an open mind, but it's really important to have your own experience and have your own understanding, not take someone else's experience and go down that road. You know, you might get some people who like do spell books and play Ouija boards all the time, and it all works for them. But maybe for you, like for me, that stuff was a no go zone. Like that's I'm not supposed to play with that stuff. That attracts all kinds of, you know, things that are just not healthy for my state of mind and my energy bubble and stuff. So, you know, you got to have a lot of discernment. And just because that spiritual person is saying that alien is speaking to me, you know, don't listen to it as gospel. Like really have your own experience and take in the things you're meant to, but learn the lessons it's giving you. And you know, it's your own experience, it's your own spiritual experience, and it's your own on your own. No one else is going to know and understand what you're experiencing. They can help you, but it's your own experience, if that makes
That
any sense.
what you're gonna learn from. You're gonna learn from your own, like you learn from your mistakes.
Yes.
So yeah, well, I think what Ed is also trying to say is like, okay, so I used to lead ceremonies. Okay, I used to love going and doing full moon ceremonies and new moon ceremonies, mostly new moon ceremonies. I really love the new moon. It really resonated with me back at the time when I was doing ceremonies, and it was a time to bring the community together, and we would practice ancestral ways. That was my intent on that. Okay, I never went into a meditation, you guys, doing a guided meditation. It never felt right. It never what felt right when I would be with Yogi Josh and I, because we were always together playing some kind of vibrational music together. If it wasn't the rap band, the sound bowl, or the gong, we would combine our vibrations, and we were really good at it. And my whole time doing it, and the same thing as Josh, he had the same intent as me, was to focus on one thing, whatever that was. And we would call that out to the people and say, hey, let's focus on one thing, whatever that was. If it was let go or receiving, it was different every night that we did a ceremony. But as far as doing, I always used to say, this is a time for the healers to receive. That was always pretty much our intent 90% of the time. A couple of
Mm.
times there's kind of some other stuff, but most of the time it was for the healers to come and to heal during this new moon. Okay, and that is what we were to focus on. But as far as guided meditations go, that those never resonated with me. I never liked the thought of somebody else guiding me into a state of mind that was between me and my creator, between me, myself, Mother Gaia, whatever your belief system is.
Mm.
And does that make sense? Isn't that like kind of what you're
Yes.
saying? Yeah.
Yeah,
Go
for
learn
sure. For
from your own
sure.
experience.
Sure.
Go with what you think is right at the time, even if you couldn't explain it, because I couldn't explain it at that time. So many people would want me to go do a guided meditation, Josh and I, and we would try and we would fail. We would
Mm.
It didn't work. So it
Mm.
was so much easier for us, just like I said, to focus on the one thing together. And
Yeah.
together we are more powerful. I heard that clearly from spirit. You've got the people together. You are more powerful when you are together.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes sense. But
For
as
sure.
far, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
And
I don't know.
that's,
I've had two. I've had two or three. I don't know if they were guided meditations, but it was like a spiritual healer, and she put me under, like where I was speaking from like somewhere else, but I was conscious, but I was like lying on a bed and I was having this experience, and she was like getting all this stuff out of me. And yeah, that I don't think that was very safe. Like I wouldn't. I think I think it caused me more harm than good. But you know, it was for a reason now. But yeah, I don't know if I would ever, if I had to do it all over again, I wouldn't choose to do it that way. Like I think it sped things up a bit too much. I feel like
yeah. It's like,
my
it's like
spirit
putting the
wasn't, my
binary,
body wasn't ready for what
yeah.
my
It's like,
spirit.
when you
Yeah,
put the beats in your ears and you were listening to that vibrational music all night
yeah,
for
yeah,
higher
yeah, yeah,
frequencies, and
yeah.
remember how it just shot you, just messed you up
Oh
so
yeah,
bad.
yeah.
There we go. They're not
I'm
being
never
organic.
the same.
We're not being organic. We're pushing something. We want something to happen that's not ready to happen,
Yeah,
and then you force it,
and you
and
force it.
it's
Not,
kind of, it's
yeah,
not good. It's
Yeah.
kind of like doing a DMT trip, like for the thousandth the time. You
Yeah.
can't
Yeah.
force something that's not going to be there. Because
No.
again, that's what spirit or sources told me. Again, Claudine, it's on divine timing. There's a
Yeah.
reason for everything to happen on an
Yes.
organic time, at its organic time for each human, for whatever
Yes.
that is.
Yes.
Um,
And you know how I was saying you have your spirit and then you have your body? Like I had to learn this when I did the spiritual healing with this woman. She taught me this, and like I understand it now because she would connect with my spirit. My spirit would say all these things, but my physical body would be lying there like, "What the hell is going on?" You know? But so like, and she said, she goes, "You have a very strong spirit, and but your physical, like," and they weren't matching up in my physical. Like my spirit was one and my physical was doing something else. So I think because it's so real, your spirit, when they do go in and they can do this stuff, and if your body isn't ready for that, for it to match up with where your spirit might be at, it might be a little bit, it might not be the best.
no, just again, we're just trying to say, let this stuff happen organically, you guys,
Yeah.
naturally. When you
Yeah.
let it happen that way, then you start to, the way for one, memory comes back. That's one of my gifts that I have, is that I do have my memory, and like I'm super like high on life right now because my memory is coming back to me more and more every day. And the only way for me to explain the things that I know and how I know them is like they've always been there. The
Mhm.
answers and everything that I know is right there. It's always been there. I just never chose to accept it to be that easy.
Mhm.
It can't be that easy. You're kidding me, Claudine. And then like now I look at it, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's just there. It's always been there. Just like we were talking earlier about how much easier it was for us to tap in before all this 5G, EMF waves versus now. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? But now I feel like I'm connected like I was when I was a little girl, when I was a child again. And
Mhm.
it feels good and it's exciting. And again, I let this all happen organically. I'm not forcing anything anymore. When I did, then fairy tales and stupid stories come out of my mouth.
Mhm. It's true. Authenticity. It's all about being authentic. Just be
It
authentic.
is.
Be your true self.
Come home to your true authentic self, who is a
Yes.
very loving person, who has a lot of love to give, and who is kind, and who is humble, and that is who you truly are. That's who you are naturally want to be. And
Mhm.
once you learn how to go ahead and let go of the lower self and just be in the higher self, which I guess could be 5D to some people too,
Yep.
then
That's it.
yeah.
5D.
Yep, yep. And the more that you clean your body and you detox all of the bad chemicals out of it, and you come off of
Mhm.
all of this other stuff that from eating habits to pharmaceuticals to just harmful stuff that you put into your
Yep.
body, everything, breathe in the air. Yep, our chemtrails. So, but yeah, with all that being done and stuff starts to happen naturally and organically to you pretty fast. But it is time's up, you guys. We went over a little bit over our time, but I just want to let you guys know again that we do have products, we do have services. So to support us, I would super appreciate it if you guys would go to the website at elevatedbyclaudine.com and purchase. And you can purchase a session with Anne through there if you guys want to. Just go through services. Go to my website. You'll see products. Go to services. You'll see Anne and my services all listed there. And we'll be back again next Monday talking about whatever you guys want to talk about, or whatever her and I want to talk about, what's usually happened between today and next Monday.
Next
Who
Monday.
knows? But all I got to say is we're still here, you guys. Every morning we wake up, we're still on this planet.
Yep.
Putting another days of work in. But thank you for
Oh
coming.
God.
And oh, and tomorrow morning, you guys. Okay, one more time. One more thing. I will be live again tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock from 8 to 10 with Love Warriors, Julie. And that is the spiritual show that flows. And that is another show that I do where I give another 2 hours of free counseling. That's what I'm doing with these lives. You're literally getting 2 hours of free counseling on this live, and you're getting 2 more free hours of counseling on my next live. And which, if you go to my services on my website, you will see how much you would pay for that if you wanted that privately. So, anyways, you guys have a merry and happy everything, and we will see you guys next Monday. You want to go ahead and close it out, Anne?
Happy full moon.
Bye-bye.
Have fun. Bye.
Bye.